Imagine waking up tomorrow to find a machine sitting at your desk. It does your exact job, it never sleeps, and it will operate entirely on its own for free. Right now, estimates from Goldman Sachs project that current artificial intelligence adoption will displace roughly 6 to 7% of the global workforce. That represents a noticeable bump in unemployment, but it is a manageable disruption. We are, however, rapidly approaching the emergence of artificial general intelligence, or AGI. AGI is a machine intelligence capable of human-level cognition across any economic task. It possesses the capability to replace physical labor and complex cognitive work simultaneously. It can write the software code, audit the corporate finances, and operate the heavy machinery. This poses a direct threat to the core mechanism of modern society, the necessity of earning a wage to survive. Whenever a new technology emerges, society panics about mass unemployment. And historically, we have always been wrong. Look at the Industrial Revolution. Steam engines and mechanization displaced millions of farmhands, but those same technologies eventually created entirely new sectors in mass manufacturing. The cycle continued through the 20th century. Early computer terminals and automated telephone switchboards displaced specific administrative roles, while vastly expanding the need for office workers. 60% of workers today are employed in occupations that literally did not exist in 1940. Economists call short-term job loss frictional unemployment. Displaced workers take time to find positions, but disruption historically fades within a 2-year window as the labor force adapts. Until now, technology has acted as a tool to enhance human output. By increasing our capabilities, machines have consistently made human workers more valuable. AGI does not follow this historical pattern of economic recovery. It introduces an economic concept that breaks the traditional labor market: near-zero marginal cost. This means that once an AGI system is built, the cost to produce one additional unit of work is practically zero. This comparison model illustrates the problem. To double output with human workers, a firm must double its wages, benefits, and hiring costs. AGI scales infinitely. Its costs remain flat, totally undercutting the price of human labor. Because it works autonomously and without wages, AGI ceases to be a tool wielded by employees. In the eyes of economics, it becomes pure capital, an asset owned completely by corporations. So, what jobs survive? Researchers suggest looking for roles with intense physical stakes, like air traffic controllers guiding commercial planes in real time, or positions holding absolute corporate authority, like chief executives making high-level strategic and legal decisions. And finally, roles that rely entirely on profound empathy and deep human connection, such as members of the clergy. If your job doesn't involve literal life-or-death physical stakes, signing tax returns, or providing spiritual guidance, your labor simply becomes an unnecessary expense. This creates a devastating economic paradox. When firms substitute their human workforce with AGI to maximize production efficiency, the total amount of wages paid out to the population drops towards zero. People can only consume goods if they have earned wages to spend. Without those paychecks, the general public's purchasing power is wiped out. Economists call this a collapse in aggregate demand. Corporations suddenly find themselves with warehouses full of inventory, but no customers who can afford to buy them. If you look at this cyclical flow model, you can see the exact point of friction. Factories produce massive surpluses using highly efficient AGI, but the returning flow of consumer currency dries up. The loop breaks. Achieving perfect production efficiency destroys the consumer base required to sustain a capitalist economy. To prevent widespread systemic failure, society will have to renegotiate the social contract. This flowchart outlines the primary proposed solution: Universal Basic Income, or UBI, a guaranteed state stipend replacing lost wages. In a post-labor economy, UBI is a mathematical necessity to maintain aggregate demand. Without it, the economic engine cannot run. Funding that system requires heavy progressive taxation on AGI capital. Otherwise, all economic wealth concentrates instantly into the hands of the few corporations that own the AI infrastructure. But the math might be the easy part. For centuries, human identity, purpose, and social status have been inextricably linked to our professions. If machines can paint, write, calculate, and build perfectly for free, what would you do with your life if survival no longer required wages? The most difficult challenge of the AGI transition will not be building the technology or even balancing the economy. It will be redefining what it means to be human when our worth is completely decoupled from our labor.